exciting edition of Wisdom Plus TV series with me, the Purpose Doctor, Pst Wisdom Esegbue. So we'll be talking about negative emotions, how it affects your immune system, how it affects your health generally. Emotions are said to be negative when there are feelings that make you feel sad. And researches have been done, so much of researches and reports that show that it affects our immune system. It reduces our responses. But today we are going to take a look at some of these researches and to stimulate research on this subject and to create awareness. So we are going on a short break. When we come back, I will be introducing our guest for today. You are welcome to Wisdom Plus TV series one more time with me, the Purpose Doctor, and I have wonderful guests to do justice with me for this topic. So right now I will be introducing to you our number one guest for today, no other person but Mrs. Elohor, Egwuenyenga. You are welcome to this program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, audience, and thank you, viewers.
And I have with him also a nursing student. His name is Isikadi. Precious, you are welcome. So negative emotions can be described as feeling which cause you to be miserable, causes you to be sad. And emotions are very, very delicate things. You must handle it appropriately. So we are going to the first guest for today. We want you to answer some of these questions, beginning from Mrs. Elohor Egwuenyenga. She's a nursing tutor and the author of a book of motivation. Can you remind us again?
Motivational quote for successful living.
Motivational quote for successful living. A book that has greatly motivated and inspired most of us. So, can you help us tell us something about negative emotions?
Okay, before we talk about negative emotions, we should look at what emotions are. Emotions are what makes us humans in the first place. And whether we like it or not, we do experience emotions every day of our lives. And whether we like it or not, or believe it or take it, we know we have different types of emotions, the negative, the positive emotions. So my view about negative emotions is where they spring from, why they occur to us, how we react and respond to them when they occur to us. And every day, naturally, without we knowing, negative emotions, we display them without we knowing. It occurs to everyone, young and old, rich and poor, educated and illiterate. So I love this topic so much because it's what we experience daily in our lives, in our families, our schools, our workplaces, wherever we find ourselves. We are exposed to all forms of negative emotions, and we ourselves display them without we knowing. So today's topic is going to be a very eye opener for all of us to know that negative emotions are real. We can't run away from them. We can't deny them. They are there. But the most important thing is how do we manage them since they are there. So that is why we are here today, so that they don't affect our health, they don't affect our lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I love that wonderful comment of yours, but we're looking at it again. So maybe over to Precious. Can you tell us your opinion on negative emotions?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Like our first speaker said that Negative emotions are bound to occur. There are things that we experience every day. So, negative emotion, first of all, we have to understand what emotion is generally. And like she rightly said that emotions are what happens to us. Like they are our sad moments, our feelings and all that. So that will take us to what negative emotion is generally. So negative emotions are unpleasant responses, how we respond to situations when they occur. So how you and I handle those moments when they occur will determine whether they affect us positively or they affect us negatively. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for that one. We are most concerned with how to manage it, but I still want us to look at it very well because everybody experiences negative emotions at certain points in your life. There's nobody that will live your whole lifetime without experiencing negative emotion, and we learn to manage it. But for people who have consciously not know that they are going through negative emotion all through their life. So a lot of people are sad all through. That's depression. So we need to call the attention to the fact that this thing is negative emotion. So they must understand what we are talking about before we can help them to manage it. So we are looking at your feelings. There are feelings of anger, feelings of hatred, feelings of disappointment that do not augur well with your life. These are what we refer to as negative feelings, negative emotions. So back to our first guest, you have another question. Please, let's look at it carefully again. What are the indications of negative emotions? What are the possible things that you see and you are able to recognize that, oh, this is negative emotion? Or I want you to empower somebody out there going through negative emotion without really knowing it.
How will you know if you are experiencing negative emotions? This is it. Have you ever felt miserable before? Have you ever felt deprived before? Have you ever felt hopelessness to the highest extent that you feel like just giving it all? Have you ever felt this emptiness inside of you as if you are worthless? That you hate yourself so much that nothing good seems to be happening around you? Whenever you have those kind of feelings around you, you know that negative emotions is in place. And we hear issues of people committing suicide. We hear issues of people falling into depression that can even lead to very strong mental health issues. These are real life situations. We're not just saying reading them from books or seeing them in movies. It happens. Even right now, we're talking as somebody is experiencing negative emotions somewhere. As we're talking as somebody is even acting it out right now. So if you ever felt this spirit of you want to reach out to someone bitterly, let me do it to that person so it can hurt that person so much. You feel like hurting yourself, you feel like hurting others, you don't care what the things you say to people, how it affects them, you are experiencing negative emotions. You don't care what your actions, the impact of your actions have on others, you are experiencing negative emotions. Because anybody that has positive emotions will not be thinking of how you want to hurt the other person. Before you utter a word from your mouth, you want to like think about it twice. What I want to say, how will it affect the person that is listening to me? But if you have negative emotions, you don't care. Let that person feel like going to kill herself or kill himself. If you have negative emotions, you don't even care what even happens to you yourself, let alone others, to tell you how bad it is. So the indications are that: are you feeling miserable? Do you feel hopeless? Do you feel helpless? Do you feel deprived? Do you feel depressed? Do you feel worthless? If you're having those feelings in your life, my sister, my brother, you will have negative emotions that you need to deal with. And if you don't deal with it now, it can lead to some other disastrous circumstances. So, indications that you have negative emotions are that you are hopeless, you are helpless, you are deprived, you are depressed, you are lonely. If there's spirit of this feeling of disappointment all around you, so watch it and watch what is happening in your life right now to know whether you have negative emotions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we are coming out clearly, and gradually we'll be going over to look at how to manage it. But before that, I want Precious to look at it again and tell us what causes negative emotion. What causes it?
Okay, when you talk about causes of negative emotions, then you have to understand what causes is first. Causes are like something that could trigger something. Like when you talk of causes, something that can lead to something being existing. So when you talk of causes of negative emotion, number one of them would be deprivation. Yes, sure, deprivation can lead to negative emotion. You will be deprived of your position. Maybe you are looking at going to pursuing a career, and along the line, you want the position actually, but in one way or the other, you were deprived of that position. That could trigger negative emotion in that person. And secondly, failure. You let's take in the case of students, for example. You see some students, because they are not well, should I say, they are not well prepared. Maybe they could fail a course, and at that point in time it could cause a negative emotion for them. Why? Because they have failed a particular course that maybe they actually prepared for, they read well for it, and along the line, maybe due to one or two circumstances, they failed the course. So that can actually cause negative emotion. Another thing we'll be looking at is in the case of relationships, marriages, and all that, heartbreak also can cause negative emotion. When a girl, a lady who is married or maybe in relationship or something like that, so it could also trigger negative emotions. Thank you very much.
All right. I think I like that, and I just want to add that we face challenges every day. We face obstacles, we face deprivation, and these are challenges that we must prepare for. If you don't prepare for challenge, when it happens, you are down. Well, if you are well prepared, for example, and you fail, you should be able to have some shock absorber. So we will be looking at the shock absorbers, but we are going on a short break. When we come back, we will talk to the audience for their opinion. So don't go away. Don't go away. Welcome back to Wisdom Class TV series with me, the Purpose Doctor, Pastor Wisdom Esegbue. We are dealing with negative emotions, how it affects our immunity and our health generally. We have people in the audience. We want to give two people opportunity. Yes, Gemete, to tell us your opinion on what we have discussed so far.
Thank you very much, sir. I would say negative emotion is something we really pass through every day in life because humans respond to stimuli to the challenges of life. Like what the last speaker said, that maybe somebody can suffer a heartbreak or even a failure in a particular thing you did, and that can lead to a negative emotion. So I would say that negative emotion is something that really reduces our appetite or reduces our ability to do a particular thing at a maximum result. Thank you.
Okay, that is very good. I don't know if any other person in the audience have something to contribute. Okay, let's hear Daniel.
In respect of what you're saying about negative emotion, I see it as more of an impulse to a certain event, like a feeling you get for something. But in respect of pursuing a goal or a career, a successful one, emotion has to be placed in a remote position in whatever we're pursuing. That's what I have to say.
Okay, that's very good. If you have questions, please put it down. I might be giving us a second opportunity to ask our question, but we need to go back to our guest speakers for today. Mrs. Elohor, Egwuenyenga. We are now going over to how to handle negative emotions. So, over to you.
Um, before we talk about handling negative emotions, I want to contribute to what Mr. Precious just said, the second speaker. We'll talk about where the negative emotions spring from. Primarily, negative emotions spring from negative thoughts.
Okay.
So, if negative thoughts can spring from circumstances, can spring from our environment, can spring from upbringing. Most importantly, upbringing. As a child I was giving birth to, every human being, every child was giving birth to with an empty emotional tank. An emotional tank are like our car fuel tanks. You know, when they are empty, we go nowhere with it. But when they are full, we can go anywhere we actually want to go to with our cars. That is how it is like. But as a child is growing up in that particular environment, he's being nurtured and he's being raised by that particular family, that particular society, he will be exposed to all manner of things. So as child is growing up, either your emotional tank is going to be filled with quality relationship that can spring and bring out positive emotions, or is going to be like deflated with negative relationship and bad upbringing that can spring and bring out what? Negative emotions. And that one now will take us to into adulthood. So negative emotions that we are seeing displayed everywhere sometimes, we know that we are, as humans, we are going to face challenges before. It's only humans that are alive that face challenges. The dead don't cry. They don't know what's called emotions or feelings. It's only we that are alive that can face emotions or feelings. But the fact that I was being raised very well, I have good quality relationship, I have built myself up over the time, my emotional tank is filled up to the extent that I can bring out positive emotions. No matter what the world will throw at me, I will stand very strong. So something can happen to me, that same thing can happen to somebody else. That person will react negatively to that thing, but I will react what? Positively to it. So the most important thing that brings about negative emotions in any place at all is what? Bad thoughts. And that bad thought most times spring from our upbringing and how we are being raised. That is that.
Okay.
Then talking about how to manage negative emotions. Whenever you are having this feeling of negative emotions, be it I am sad, I am hopeless, I feel like killing myself, nobody love me, and so on and so many things that do happen when we have these negative emotions, calm down yourself and ask yourself, why this emotion? Why this feeling? When did I start having this feeling? And what is this feeling? Am I feeling hopeless right now? Yes. Am I feeling very angry right now? Yes. Okay, what is the cause of my anger? She spoke to me wrongly or he spoke to me wrongly. Okay, why did he or she speak to me wrongly? You're not trying to define and label that emotion. So the most important thing when you're facing negative emotions to manage it is self-awareness. This self-awareness is you tuning into your own self and asking yourself, why am I having this feeling, one? And what is this feeling? Where did it spring from? When did I start experiencing it? If you can nail it and label it very well, that is the number one step. After having this self-awareness, the next step again is to you give yourself time. No matter what is happening around you or what you are facing, it will soon pass. Robert Scholar said, tough time don't last, but tough people do. And if I should quote the words of Nelson Mandela, he said, the glory of living is not in never falling, but in rising up anytime you fall. So whether people will do things to you, that is for sure, of course, because we are living. Whether you do things to people, that is for sure. So first and foremost, have this self-awareness, then give yourself time to heal from it. That is the second step. Now the last step, please be filled with gratitude. You fail and so what? To me, I feel I have an acronym I call for failing. Fail means first attempt in what? In learning. That you failed, go back again and retry. You failed, go back again and retry. That should not be a reason for giving yourself to negative emotions. Then I want to say this when I talk about gratitude as the last step is that where you are right now that you're complaining about making you to feel sad and terrible is somebody's prayer point. Wherever you are in life is somebody's prayer point. You are in school in year one, somebody is praying to enter school. You are married, somebody is praying to be married. You are alive, someone that is dead is wishing that he was alive. So whatever your reasons or whatever thing that is happening to you that can make you to have an excuse or a reason to give in to negative emotion, someone is praying and hoping to be where you are.
Wow.
So please, gratitude. You have this spirit of gratitude. When you have the spirit of gratitude, I bet you negative emotion will disappear. The most reason why we have negative emotions around us is that we are, how am I going to put it now? We are not contented with where we are, what we have, and what we have. So if you are contented where you are, who you are, and where you are, negative emotions will just develop wings and fly. So sweetheart, and my own advice to you is that no matter where you are right now, it is your choice. It is your mindset. Should I give in to the negative emotions or not? If I should tell you that I'm sitting down here, my child is in the hospital right now, nobody will believe it. But I don't look it. I didn't come wearing a sorrowful face or crying and waiting that something is happening to me. Why? Because I just choose that to be put aside. So negative emotions, I think, is your choice. So you can manage it. It doesn't matter what. Whether you lost a loved one, it doesn't matter what. Whether you believed your loved one left you, I was ditched by my boyfriend or my girlfriend, my husband cheated on me. Whatever the excuses, I don't have money, whatever your excuses, you can manage that negative emotion. Deal with it from the root. Deal with that negative thought from the root. And I bet you the rest will be history.
Wow.
Thank you.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Now, Precious, you will also try to manage negative emotion. But before you do, there's something I need to say. Because you went back to the root cause. I believe for you to effectively manage any situation, any circumstance, you must know the cause. And you took us back to our thoughts. Now, they begin from our thoughts. The emotions, your feelings begin from the thoughts, what you think. And that is still not the beginning. We need to trace it back. Because if you look at it carefully, different people react to the same situation differently. Your reaction is based on your thoughts. For example, if you go for an interview and you're expecting that you are going to be picked, you are going to come out successful, and when the result comes out, you are not picked, what is your first thought? If your first thought is like, oh, I'm not good enough, you are definitely going to feel bad. But if you have a different thought concerning they are not picking you, and something tells you that, oh, probably because you have done well, but you find something good to think about it, you see that you, at the end of the day, you find yourself feeling happy despite the rejection. So it is correct that you got it, your thoughts, you check it. If not, you will miss it. So I want Precious at this stage to help us in managing negative emotions.
Thank you very much. Well, negative emotions, when you talk of how well you can manage negative emotions, it depends on the type of thing that affected the person and the extent at which it affected that particular person. Well, there are some steps that we recommend in managing negative emotions. Number one is social interaction. When you are faced with situations, circumstances, there are times we are faced with some unwanted situations. Well, you can mix up with people. You can get just meet a friend or group of. You see some persons like this when they are affected maybe emotionally or in one way or the other. Maybe they go to club. They are trying to get over the whole thing. So you can interact with people, either your community, your friends, and all that. So it can also help to reduce the negative emotion. Then also, I will also recommend get distracted. So what I mean by get distracted is this. Okay, like for me personally, for example, there was one day in school, back there in school, so they released a particular result and everybody was just going towards it to look at it and see what it was made of. And I just looked at that particular course and I busted into laugh. So my friend looked at me and was like, it's like you had an ill. I said, check it yourself now. So when he checked it, he was like, you are laughing. I said, should I kill myself before? So I've learned how to get distracted over. So it's not that I'm not allowing the situation part time to affect me negatively, because it could trigger or get complicated. I don't know if you understand. So it's one of the ways you can manage negative emotions. Just try to distract yourself from that situation at hand, and it will help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. And you must know that emotions are visitors. Feelings are visitors. The way they come is the way they go. So at any point in time, give yourself some time. The circumstances will change. The only thing that cannot change is God. God is unchangeable. All answers. I don't seem to have questions from the audience, but the audience must answer this for me. Do happy people live healthier lives? Do they live healthier? I'm saying nothing from the audience.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. A lot of researches have been done to see the effect of negative emotion on immune response, and the reports we have shows that they lower your immune system. Now, negative emotions and stress generally they are known to affect health, mental health especially. If you are faced with an adverse situation that you cannot manage, you see some people developing psychological problems and challenges. So that is the much it can affect your health. But today we are looking at its effect on immunity. So you must watch it. Your thinking pattern, don't let them to be negative all the time. God will help us. We have heard Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 13, it says, a merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is what? Broken. And if you go down to verse 15 of it, it said, all the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of a merry heart has a continual peace. So be merry all the time, no matter the situation you face or your circumstances. A merry heart will bring you out. You will never fail. In Jesus' name. So we have come to the concluding part of this episode. I want to say a very big thank you to our guest, Mrs. Elohor Egwuenyenga. Thank you for being part of today's program. Precious, we are grateful. And every one of you in the audience, thank you. And I want you to continue to subscribe to our social handles. On Facebook, look for Wisdom Class TV. On Instagram and even on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, and continue to join us in our regular program. God bless you.